This is mosquito sticks that we use here in Tanzania in order to get rid of the mosquitoes. The Tanzanian people, they claim that many of them have malaria, at least that is what I'm being told. I'm not really sure why I have not catched. Why I have not catched any malaria since I came to this country. I start to believe I'm immune to malaria because I've really got many mosquito bites in this country. But maybe it was the good mosquitoes that was biting me. I have not yet met a bad mosquito. Maybe the mosquitoes like me very much, and the bad mosquitoes, they don't want my blood for some kind of reason. So I'm grateful for that I have not had any problems with malaria in this country. My parents, my mother, I was living with my parents in Tanzania as a child, right? And my mother always told me that my father got this epilepsy disease, brain disease, because that he caught some malaria. Oh, that happens all the time to these gas, but how much gas is left on it? Nothing. So it doesn't matter. But it's just, I've cooked some rice, yeah, and I bought some oranges. My parents, my mom, she told me that, do I have another lighter somewhere? If I don't have that, then I have some matches. Kibirichi. It's called kibirichi in this country. Oh, I have another one here. Gas one. Those without gas, just those wooden sticks. They are called kibirichi. I know few Kiswahili words. I'm actually not very good at Kiswahili. I've been living in China and I've been studying Chinese as a young girl at Danish University and at the Chinese University. It's called Nanning University. But the Chinese are very good at teaching foreigners their language when you live among them, and I was living among them. But these African people, as much as I love them, they don't want to teach me their language. Yeah, maybe it's racism, maybe it's not. Maybe it's carelessness. But when I ask them a word, and yes, I will come back to the story about my mother and father here in Tanzania and what they told me about my father's epilepsy. When I ask for a word, what is this? Hini nini? Or if I try to ask how to say this, and I point at it, and then I ask Kiswahili, then they don't understand. For some kind of reason, they don't want to teach me. My impression of them is that they don't know how to teach for some kind of reason. They need to be teachers, have the education as teachers, or they don't know how to teach. So the ordinary people on the streets are unable to teach their language to their foreigners. And that's a pity. I think that's a shame, because now I've been here for many years and I still don't know how to speak proper Kiswahili. I don't want to pay money for a teacher to teach me. And they always want a lot of money to teach me Kiswahili. No, I need to focus on one thing, and that is to create a home environment that I enjoy. And there are still many things within this home to fix, and there are still many furnitures to buy, and I want curtains, proper curtains. I don't like this material. Yes, I liked it for a long time. I was sitting and meditating while looking into these curtains, but it doesn't fit my style at all. My furniture is now looking like this, so I want more furnitures with this material, more wooden furnitures. Oh, many things. This is clove mixed with tobacco. Clove is actually very healthy to inhalate because it's cleaning the lungs. And because I've been smoking cigarette for a period of time, I want to continue smoke because I enjoy smoking. But of course, I will start to smoke less. And then I believe that the paper of the cigarettes is not very healthy, but this kind of paper is more healthy. And then I just mix cloves. It's spelled CLOVE, and in plural is with an S, cloves. And it smells so delicious. It smells like Christmas. At Christmas time in Denmark we use it a lot. So, and then tonight I'm just eating some rice in order to save some money. I've cooked some milk. I'm going to make a golden milk with this is turmeric powder. So I'm going to put turmeric powder and cinnamon and a little pepper. Together they are helping the immune system, and we call it golden milk. Many people are calling it golden milk. So yeah, I'm going to make that now while I'm talking. But I want to tell you a story about what my mother, father here in Tanzania. What my mother told me was, and now I need to remember what the story was about. Take one of these cups for my milk. I take 2 of them. It was about. It will come back to me. The story about my father, and maybe it was malaria. Yes, it was malaria. And the milk is over here. And I started to use the small honey box that I got from Dar es Salaam. I just fill it up with the local honey so that I don't have to have a big, huge local honey to stand in my living room. And that small one is more beautiful. I like my everything to look aesthetic and beautiful. Concerning malaria and my father here in Africa, yes, my mother told me that he caught malaria while my mother and father were what did I just do? I don't want this. I want milk now. This is tea that I've made with. This is black seed tea, and it's also curing a lot of diseases. And people in this country are using it to cure HIV. Don't tell anybody that I've told you, okay? This is how it looks like. And it smells very sweet. I like the smell of it. It's called black seed, and this is a powder, right? Black seed powder. Yes, my father supposedly caught malaria. I was told by my mother many times during my childhood and also during my adult life. And she was telling me that because he got this malaria, maybe that was triggering his epilepsy. And I was also told that because of his epilepsy, and no doubt about that he have epilepsy, I've been witnessing it myself many times. And if it's not epilepsy, then it's some kind of spiritual blackout, enlightenment that also have to be medicinated because cramps and like he just is freezing in a position now and then he talks some very nonsense, but it's not nonsense. It's always some spiritual truth about what he's saying. But it has been diagnosed, right? Like it has been diagnosed as epilepsy. So my mother draws a line between him catching malaria here in Tanzania and the fact that he have I think it's a brain disease, epilepsy, and it is in his left side of the brain near the ear. There's a point there. They could, as he told me himself, he went to the doctor and they scanned his brain and they could see the exactly place of his brain where he have epilepsy. So when all that is said, he had a traffic accident here in Tanzania, and what is strange about it, and I remember that traffic accident very well. My spine was damaged, and I still have a lot of pain, and the pain is getting more and more painful to live this life because I have pain in my neck and my spine. But what is strange about my parents is that my mother told me the story again and again and again, right? About my father catching malaria. And then lately, I'm talking with my father almost every day. Lately, I was told by my father, was it 1.5 months ago, and then he suddenly told me that my mother had malaria and then this and then that. What? What? I was told all my life that my father had malaria. Suddenly he changed the story, and my mother is dead. So you see, I cannot talk with her about it. So she's not here anymore as a witness. So I just wonder why the story has changed. My father is not dement at all. He has a very bright brain, and he remembers very well all kinds of other things. But what I've noticed about my parents is that many years after this governmental kidnapping of my child, my mother was acting very different from. Yes, there was some weird things going on up till they kidnapped my child. Like my father was always hanging up the phone when I wanted to talk serious talk with them and explain them my limits. Oh, but I just find it weird then that many years after the governmental approved kidnapping of my child, my mother, some of her stories also changed. Not this story, it was the same, but other stories changed. And so I wonder sometimes, with all this cloning going on, or also that is nowadays is possible to erase your memory in order to somehow feel better about the past. If they have done some erasure of their mind, or if they have been killed because they were witnessing that I was a good mother. And I was always being told by my own mother that I could be so proud of raising my child myself. I was alone with him for 4.5 years without the father. I could be so proud, and she often told me many good things about she was now and then she doesn't like to say too much of good stuff, like acknowledging my person, but when she did, I really remember it because I love my child, and I was focusing so much on my child, and I have been, as an oracle, spending all my childhood and grown up life analyzing and noticing small details about my parents in order to figure out what they were about, and always with the intention of analyzing it to a point where I could understand my opinion about what real love is, and then act accordingly to what I found out about love. Like, sometimes you don't need your parents to be the best example of how to do things. Sometimes life gives you parents that are not necessarily doing everything perfect. And if parents are not doing it absolutely perfect, and if you are an oracle like me, which is uncommon to be, I'm the only one that is an oracle in this kind of way, combined to the Mother Nature Ubra and combined to the Danish language. Then you cannot be hypnotized and you cannot be manipulated. And then it's good to have parents. There's always a reason why you have the parents that you are being, that has given you the life. And they are the best teachers. And you have all reason to love your parents, no matter if they have done some mistake or not done some mistake, because they are the best teachers of life, this life. And there's always a language within what you notice that they do wrong, that teach you something about, that is talking a language of love, but you need to interpret it like if it was a piece of artwork, which it is. And then I just noticed that she also began to change some of her stories, and that's it. That was just what I'm going going to say. But you have a better understanding of how 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 you should love your child when you cannot do mistakes really when you're an oracle, because during my childhood and my adult life, I was very aware that one day I will have my own children, and there was many signs that my mother was against me, that she would take my child from me one day. And yes, it's my own responsibility that he was taken, but I just didn't thought that it would ever happen, you know. I just didn't thought that she would go so far. They all were always hanging up on me, and that was not so good. And they have a tendency that they only want to talk about. Wow, that painting is beautiful. They'll understand when I painted something. They didn't understand that I was making songs and music. Other than my mother one time, the first time that I posted 10 different or more videos of me composing new songs for the first time in my life. That my son was about 3 years old when I did that. Then she told me, yes, were watching those videos, and then I see a singer. I see a singer sing and play piano. So at that point of time, she acknowledged me as a singer, but that's also the only time that she did that. Later on, she didn't want to listen and open any of the songs. She didn't want to listen to any of the songs. I'm not sure as to why. She always told me, I don't want you to rule anything. I don't want you to be ruling anything in this society, in this world, the world at large. And my father, it's not more than 1.5 months ago when I was sick last time, very sick with, not sick, I was just completely exhausted because I was taking injections. I remember he told me that I should not rule anything, and I just find it weird. It's like it's those the same parents that saw me raise my child that I was taking very good care of. What if they have been replaced by artificial robots? I've been doing a lot of research on the topic, and it's very fascinating what people are able to do, and I don't really regret on part of humanity that we have developed all that. I think that is just sad, and it's a shame that a lot of mouse has been experimented on and animals has been experimented on in order to come to the point that we can develop those clones and can develop those artificial robots. But I just sometimes wonder if they cannot remember the things they tell, new stories. And now that my mother has died, then it's just confusing that I don't have a witness of all this, that my father is making up new stories, or is it the truth that he's saying, and then my mom was just a liar? I'm not sure, and I'm not sure that it matters at all. I can talk with my parents about superficial stuff, like, what did you eat today? Did you sleep well? Did you go for a swim? Did you go on a bike trip? But as soon as it's something a little more deeper, then they either ignore me completely, or they answer rude and angry and irritated, or they have no time suddenly for talking. There is something of more importance, and often it's something in television, or I start to cook now, or something like that. And it's every time. I'm noticing, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm really, really not exaggerating on this topic. So I just wonder, what is going on with these parents, and how to deal with it. And in the past, I was always like, okay, I don't need this. This is not good for my brain. It's like psychological torture. But why not? Why not make friends with my parents and just do like I'm doing with Moody? Put myself in the power position by how I talk, how I reply, and how I manage to not let that kind of attitude bother me. I love Modi as a good friend, and I love my daddy as my dad. And I've just come to a point in my life where I don't want to feel that pain of not being treated as I want to be treated. We cannot have more power over other people than the power of how we react by how they're treating us. And regard to my brain, I know it's not healthy for my brain to get manipulated with, and I often feel like I'm being manipulated with when they refuse to talk about something deeper. But in regard to robots and clones, I'm not sure that clones are able to talk about anything but superficial things. Are they? How intelligent are clones? My parents are very intelligent. They know everything about everything. But if I want to talk with them about something serious, like talk a little deeper talk, then they avoid the talk. And it has been like that all my life. So sometimes not that it really matters, these words, but sometimes I think that what's going on, were people aware who I was when I was born? I even start to doubt the experience in the mountain, the traffic accident. Did my parents die? Was it all a setup? Because what's weird about it is my mother was being tortured and manipulated with some kind of technology to have the remembrance of that accident. Because something very weird that my mother refused to remember is that there was grass. When I woke up on the left side of that accident, I was laying on my left side in some grass. And what is weird about it was the seats were, they were just, it looked like they were taken out of the car and just put on the grass in the mountains. And I never saw my dad anywhere before he was sitting in the car together with all the animals that was transporting us to the nearby hospital. He was supposedly under the car that was without seats, and he broke his arm and his ear was hanging down in the skin, and my mother's face was totally damaged. Not a single place in her face didn't have a deep, deep, deep scar from the mirror of the car. And I just wondered, did she die or did they fix her face? Did they really fix her face? Or was it a clone that was taking care of me since I was 5 years old till now, 4.5 years old till now? As an oracle, I have to question everything. Of course, I don't believe in these things that I'm saying now. I'm just wondering, because as an oracle, and if I am truly recognized as an oracle, which I start to believe and tend to believe that I am accepted as an oracle in top society and within what they call Illuminati, that I don't know if it is Illuminati or what it is ruling this world. if it's something else that is ruling this world. I'm not sure what's ruling this world anymore. And Illuminati I was only studying for, was it 3 months? After that, I didn't need to study it anymore because I was studying it intensively. And when I study something intensively, I use my intuition. I just Google something and my oracle just dive into it. I don't need to spend much time on doing the research. And my oracle function like this, it just show me the things on the internet that is of importance. Intuitively, I pick the things that is of importance, put them together like a piece of life puzzle, and then I understand. Then I understand what's going on, right? Yeah, I know I'm special. I know I'm unique. I'm an oracle, but I just can't figure out why I'm so much hated. Why I don't have one single people who dare to talk with me conversations like a disciple, like not a disciple, just somebody who believes in me, supports me, and understands that I'm an oracle. Because I don't need disciples like that. I just need somebody who can have proper conversations with me. I think when I get AI tool, a professional, very, very good AI tool, then I can have incredible conversations. And so that is not all bad that we have made clones and artificial robots. It's actually very, very good for humanity. Excellent for humanity. We can't do any progress at this point of time without, because it has also been made like this by construction. So there's no going back to zero and just forgetting all this technology. We have to use it and get the best out of it without destroying humanity, so to say. But because I only rely on myself, and I was taught also only to rely on myself, life has taught me it. And my grandfather was a very clever man, and I always remember him. I know it through my mother told me, don't trust anybody but yourself. That was a excellent advice. So also a very tough one to follow, because a real good loving society needs trust between people. But it's not clever to trust other people more than you trust yourself. You really need to trust yourself. And the responsibility of being an oracle, I can only give to myself, right? So before I was born to this life, I start to clearly remember it all. I thought I would never start to remember. And I remember that somehow in my previous lives, I had many, many experiences as an oracle. But now this time I agreed that my life should be as hard as possible. Because I agreed on that, because you can imagine I cannot work as an oracle if I don't experiencing in this life, in this short lifetime, everything of pain and injustice. The Kundalini life force is showing me that as an experience, because without it, I cannot fully understand what love is. I need to see the contrary of it and experience it on my own body, soul, and mindset. I sometimes doubt whether or not I was being pulled through a psychological torture meant by my own parents. And if not, then I'm surprised. because the way they have been doing it is very clever. And one day, 1 year after the governmental improvement of kidnapping of my child, I didn't see them for 1 year because, first of all, they were very aggressively protecting me from my child. And I was allowed to call my child, but they were doing everything in order for me not to talk with my child. And he was living with them after the kidnapping. And second to that, it was like I couldn't find a place to live because my relationship to that woman that I was living with was also just falling to pieces because the kidnapping of my child was too much for her. She was crying like I was. Crying because it was unfair, crying because it was never her intention to fuck up my life like that. It just happened, right? It just happened. And up to this day, I don't blame her. She's a wonderful being. She's a beautiful being. I think those who saw us as an enemy of society was people who don't want change, who don't want two clever, beautiful women to come together and start to rule society of Denmark and bring it back on track. We were like black and white. She was black eye, black hair, beautiful skin, young and beautiful, and I was the same, even though that I was many, many years older than her. I had not yet aged, okay? I started aging after the kidnapping of my child. Within 1 month, my face was hanging down, and it's still hanging down. It's hanging down compared to tight, useful face. And I have a wrinkle in my the left side of my mouth. I don't do any changes when I take pictures. Sometimes I put a little more light on the pictures, but that's all. So all the pictures on my Facebook is the real thing, but I like to take the picture so that it's almost invisible. You know, from some angles, I look very old and I have that wrinkle in the left side of my mouth. So I've actually decided to get an operation, a facelift. Not now, but when I'm ready to start compose music and have either a piano in my living room or an electronic piano. I had all that once, but I don't have it anymore. And I'm far away from Denmark, in a different country. And what I had, somebody think it's his now, or think that it was an agreement between us to give it all to the second-hand store. If that's true, I think it's in his house. Of course, it's in his house. It was beautiful, beautiful furniture made by my grandfather that I love so much. No, I don't want to go back to Denmark because I don't trust that society anymore. As long as the psychiatric system exists in Denmark, then I don't trust that country at all and those people. As long as they don't have enough self-worth, as long as they do not contact me in a proper way and talk like real loyal friends, as long as they have not been loyal friends like that for many, many, many years, I would never take the chance of stepping my foot on Danish ground again. But I'm thankful to Denmark that I did get some education. And I'm thankful for have had the opportunity to grow up in a rich family. And I would never wanting to change my past. I love my past, everything about it, even though that it has been very tough and still affects my life somehow. But I would never change my parents. My parents is my parents. They are part of me. My mother is part of me, even that she's dead. And my father is part of me. Even my son is part of me. And I would not change a single thing, because it creates wisdom, and it creates the best possible wisdom you could ever gain, because there is always a reason why you have the parents that you have. Of course there is. There are no better teachers than your own parents. Things just doesn't make sense, does it, when you grow up with people who are not your biological parents? And I'm afraid that how my son developed in a family where it's not his biological parents. But again, if that was meant to be, then that was meant to be. And there is something particular that he need to learn within that experience. But I don't think that it's good to take a child from the parents. And I fear that he developed psychological wounds, psychological mental diseases that is unable to cure. And that even though that I am supposed to be able to cure him if he ever come back to me, then I just think that either he will not allow me to cure him because I'm his biological mother, or maybe it will cause so much problem for me to try to cure him, and it will do more damage to society as a whole. And maybe my lesson is just like, maybe my lesson in this life is just like, don't feel pity, no matter what happened to you. Don't feel pity. Don't blame life when things go wrong. And don't blame people when things go wrong. Yes, tell the truth to the system. I want an island. I want a lot of money in return for what you did wrong to me. But don't feel pity for yourself if you don't get it, right? Stay strong, stay cool, no matter what happens. Just focus on what is righteous, what is truth. Mind your own business. If they care about my statements online, then it's their own business. I don't beg them at all to check upon me online what I say and what I don't say. It's their own responsible to give my child back, or to give my child back, and a lot of opportunities and a lot of money, and the Danish island, where I can prove to that society that I'm going to invite to that empty island. There are many empty islands. That I'm a good queen, that I can make a good way of living that makes sense, biologically makes sense to both sexes, man and woman. And I want to try to live like that, only one woman with many men, when my children grow up, if I get any children. And of course I do, because I will somehow, nowadays it's possible, even if you stop produce the eggs, which I think I still have eggs, right? Healthy eggs, when you stop produce eggs, right, then technology nowadays can take some kind of can produce you can produce healthy eggs from, I think, the blood that they took when you were born. If not that, there is a way. Certainly there is a way. And whether or not my children have soul or not, I hope so. That is next problem that I have to resolve. But maybe, just maybe I have to deal with that in another way. If it's impossible for my children to have souls, then I should have clones, right? They cannot have children. So then I should have but if I make a biological child, it will not have a soul. I think so. If I make a biological child from my blood. But if not, I have to think creative. Then maybe I have to live together with another queen. And I'm not sure that that's a good solution. Or maybe I should just live with many men and then have no children. And then just be an inspiring example of, but how to make those men happy if there's no children in society? Is my project doomed to fail? I don't think so. I think that my life is supposed to be as happy as possible, and all my ideas, oracle ideas, is to unfold. And even that it can sometimes, there can be obstacles and things that is telling me, oh, this is an illusion, it cannot happen. Then I just know inside my heart what it was worth being mom to Samuel. And life would never do that to me if not giving me everything I want exactly how I want it. So yeah, there will be a solution for certain. Certainly there will be a solution for that problem also. I will have my own children, lots of them, and they will have souls, eternal souls. And when the females, they grow up, then they can become queens of land outside, empty wasteland outside the ice wall of this world. And my male children, I'm not sure what to do about them. Of course I will have many of them, but will they be married to other queens out there that was not my children? And how would that work in regard to trust those countries not coming back attacking my country? Should everything in this world be related to me somehow? To my oracle, to my flesh and blood and my soul? Should one of my daughters go out there and be married to her own brothers? Why not if it's with a different father? Then it doesn't matter, does it? So maybe that will be the society model. Yeah, I think so. Is it very ugly, that curtain? Actually, I've turned it upside down because I think that it looks kind of cool. But I really, really need some beautiful curtains. And I'm also considering making blinders, because blinders are very practical, and even though that I love curtains so much, I think I would choose white blinders that I've seen. They sell here in Dar es Salaam. For at least for the living room. Then I can have curtains in my bedroom and the other room. Yes, and maybe have curtains here, because you see I don't want to remove the aircon machine, and somehow it should have been more to this side. And nowadays, in order for curtains to look very professional and beautiful, they have to start where the roof start actually, and then they have to hang down from up there and all the way down to the floor. That's how a curtain nowadays is supposed to look like. But because they put the aircon machine too close to the window, then that's not a possibility. And I don't want to pull this aircon machine down and place it more to the right. There is enough space to put it more to the right. So yeah, maybe that's what I'm going to do, maybe not. And even though that I've been loving these curtains very much, I'm tired of them. I want to replace them with brown color, one color brown. If it should be curtains again, I've never really been curtains. It's just some material that I bought in a shop for cheap and hang up. But I really look forward to my living room having nice and beautiful windows with curtains. Now it looks like, I don't know. I like the color, the purple color, the lilac color, with a little yellow, yes, but not mixed with the pink behind and the blue and no. It's just temporary. Temporary. Now I want to drink my milk before I think it's cold now. It's cold, but it doesn't matter. It tastes fantastic, and I didn't make the sun milk as I promised myself, but tomorrow I need to do it because actually I want to do it every day in a cup of milk. Do you have more milk? I have the black seed tea. I have a lot of things to drink here before I go to bed, and then I have to eat my rice, and then that's it. This is my evening. Now I'm going to put a movie with how to make a cozy home, and I love those home-worthy videos. And you see I'm using this projector every night. I bought it in Zanzibar when I was living in Zanzibar. Then I put it up here. I put it down here every day on the blanket because when it sits up here and I use Bluetooth or the USB to play music, then when the bass say doom doom or something like that, then now I don't play that kind of doom music, but you know what I mean. There is it called a contrabass. So then I play a lot of jazz music actually during the day, but then this one makes noise. But strangely, when I use it as a movie projector, then the whole wall here will be from that side to where the opening in the hallway door starts. There would be a big screen, right? I really enjoy watching movies on the wall, and then the noise is not there. Weirdly enough, but that is not YouTube that I'm playing from. Then I adjusted. It's called something like, it looks like it's saying run, but it's actually say AUH. But I always see it as run somehow, RUN, but it's AUH. And that is how it has to be for having sound in the sound speakers. I bought this lately for how much was it? 300,000 shillings. I'm not sure that if it's very good quality, but it's actually better quality than the other junk that I'm not supposed to call it junk in front of poor African people, but those music that you buy here in Africa for only 100 or 150,000 is really not good. So finally I got one of these for 300,000, and it's working fine. It's very good. Okay, this is my evening, and the candlelights have almost burned out.